Welcome back. Hold on. Let me make sure that the mic, we'll just fix this in post. I just want to make sure the mic is the mic. Okay. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the best show in sports betting, the Breakroom. Now, a lot of things have happened since the last time we had an episode. One, I returned from Las Vegas, which was, as some might say, a movie. I may or may not have absolutely hammered an underdog money line, and I may or may not have absolutely cashed on it. But that's not what we're going to talk about at the top half of this show. There's going to be a lot that goes on today that we're going to discuss as usual, but we also have a special guest at the tail end that we will get to a little later. Jason, I can't see the sidebar, so I assume we'll fix this in post. But the first topic that I would like to discuss is the Liverpool Football Club. Now, for those of you that may not know, I haven't made it very, there it is. Perfect. For those of you that may not know, I haven't made it very public, but I'm actually a huge soccer guy. And here's the thing about soccer, is that I'm a Liverpool fan. And I've been a Liverpool fan since the Joe Allen days, the John Joe Shelby days. So don't come over here talking about this guy's a bandwagon. Because if you ever watched those teams, then you would know that that was absolute hell. But it seems as though we're falling back into those eras, or that era, as Liverpool has just been on an absolute skid. And yes, injuries have played a massive deal. And yes, we're without a lot of key players, but we're still a Liverpool Football Club. We still have tons of talent, but for some reason, we just can't seem to put it together. And teams like Manchester City, who have a checkbook about as long as the table is, seem to just be able to buy any player they want and stay at the top of the table year in and year out. Now, Liverpool may not have that luxury. However, LeBron James is a partial owner, so maybe LeBron cut the freaking check and keep us at the top of the table. I know you're getting that Laker money. That's not joke money. And, you know, we're owned by, pretty sure it's called Boston Sports Group. No. What is the Red Sox baseball stadium? Fenway Sports Group. That's it. Right? Fenway? It's got to be Fenway. Fenway Sports Group. See, this is why I have my special guest on today. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. What's up?
Yeah, well, this is awkward now, but I was going to tell you it's Fenway Sports Group. But
Fenway Sports Group. No, it's huge. Just needed the confirmation. Listen, Fenway Sports Group has basically told the club that they will not be spending any more money in the foreseeable future until the summer transfer window, because in the January transfer window, we brought in a couple center backs who just so happened to drop the absolute ball. Ozan Kabak, you know, this guy coming from Schalke is supposed to be the next big thing, can't even lock up and injure Jamie Vardy. But that's not why we're here to talk about where Liverpool will be going. And we'll be going to the top of the table next year, though. Not this year. But also today. And at the date of filming, it is Wednesday, April 14th. And that means we have a massive Champions League matchup against Real Madrid. Now, do I expect Liverpool to come away with the win? Absolutely. Do I expect us to win the tie, which for all those non-soccer fans just means that this is a best of two series, and we're currently down 2 goals. So we're going to have to score 2 to 3 goals to win the tie. Basically 3 goals, because I think we're at home today. Which is not an easy task, but if I may remind you of a certain Barcelona-Liverpool matchup last year, I have the same hopes for this year. So for those of you that are going to be watching the game that takes place on Wednesday, April 14th, just know that I'll be absolutely sweating from my gills as Liverpool dominates Real Madrid. Now, this could age poorly, so just to cover myself, and we'll fix it in post if this doesn't happen. Wow, Real Madrid really put it to Liverpool. Eliminated from the Champions League, 6th in the table. A lot of things need to change for this Liverpool club going forward. Okay, now we'll clip that, and now this is if Liverpool wins. Now, Liverpool with an absolute massive victory against Real Madrid, 6th in the table, but continuing on in the Champions League. So, Jason, just make a note of that timestamp, that 4:57. We'll clip that, and then push that out, whatever result happens. But I'd like to move away from soccer for a moment, just because I have something else I'd like to discuss. And it is that Kelly Oubre, especially when I bet on him, is an absolute lock. And it might be the closest thing to a guarantee when I bet on his over, because last week I happened to once again put my neck on the line and bet on a Kelly Oubre over. And if you can guess what it did, I'll give you a round of applause. Because it smashed. And listen, here's the thing about Kelly Oubre. Not only could he date my metaphorical daughter, because he might be one of the best looking gentlemen I think I've ever seen in my life, but he also can pour it in the bucket when he knows that I'm betting on it. So for anyone that knows Kelly Oubre, just really quickly, just let him know. Love to have him on the show, even though I know he's watching. Kelly, please, love to have you on so we can talk about this fantastic partnership we've somehow struck up, which I don't even know how we've done it, but we've done it. And you've kept me undefeated betting on your overs. But I think the real present in mine and Kelly Oubre's relationship is that the personality fit could not be better. Kelly Oubre gets a lot of hate in the media. He's been extorted a couple times. I get a lot of hate from 2 followers that I have on Twitter. That doesn't really compare to his media slander, nor have I ever been extorted. However, once I get like 1 million followers, would I mind an extortion case? Probably not. I feel like that only helps the brand. So Kelly, if you know anyone, help me out on that end. When we get there though, it's got to be way down the line, and hopefully it's not nothing too serious. But, I think if I were to let my daughter date an NBA player, it'd be Kelly Oubre. And for multiple reasons, the athleticism, the looks. It's a 5-tool player on and off the court. But not only that, but we could also sit down at Thanksgiving dinner, and I could be like, hey, Kelly, you want the potatoes? And he'd be like, absolutely, Mr. O'Brien. And I'd go, oh, here you go, Kelly. Even though he's older than me. So that would be a weird dynamic. But, it is what it is. He'd be retired at that point. And I'd go, give him a little wink. Extra cash on all those overs, Kelly. You paid for these potatoes. I wonder what he would say to that. Maybe he'd go, be like, of course, Mr. O'Brien. That's him putting the potatoes on his plate. But I think that'd be a really interesting dynamic. I'd love to see that unfold. So for anyone that knows Kelly Oubre, just let him know that love to have him on the show. I think it'd be an excellent kind of melding of minds that are at the top of their craft right now. And I think the Warriors, and listen up, Warriors, you'd be making a huge mistake to put him on the bench next year. So I've heard murmurs that Steve Kerr is saying Kelly Oubre could be a huge weapon for us coming off the bench when Clay returns. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Kerr. You'd be making a huge mistake. And Charlotte, if you're listening, let's, maybe a little Oubre LaMelo Ball action. That would be something. But listen, I don't want to bore you with basketball talk, so we're going to move on to our next topic. And yes, this show is going to be all over the place. And yes, we have no guidance. So if you're already getting frustrated, relax. Because now we're going to go on to football. And not the beautiful game that was created in England and popularized all around the globe. We're referring to the absolute smash mouth sport that is American football, where when you step on that field, you're probably going to leave with CTE, which is a problem that they need to address. But still, football, one of the best sports, I think, to watch, bet on, whatever it may be. And there's been some major moves. The first move I'd like to discuss as a New York Jet fan is the absolute monster decision to sign Corey Davis. So we finally have a wide receiver in the wings, which is huge. And I know you thought I was going to say something else as a Jets fan about a massive decision, but we're going to start with Corey Davis because that's huge. We finally have a wide receiver. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably sitting there. You're going, I bet Mike is a skill position fan guy. that when he buys jerseys, it's always the skill position. And you would be 1,000% correct. I'm going to buy a Corey Davis jersey because it's the first wide receiver we've had in the past freaking 9 years that deserves having a jersey in my closet. What am I going to buy? Robbie Anderson? What am I going to buy? Denzel Mims? What am I going to buy? You tell me what I would buy in the past 5 years as a Jets fan at the wide receiver position, and I'll buy. Oh, wait. Oh, you have nothing? Shocker. Corey Davis, huge move for the Jets organization. However, in classic Jets fashion, after finally signing a wide receiver, what did we decide to do? We decided to deal our quarterback. So now we don't have a quarterback, which is huge for a couple decisions, or a couple of reasons, I should say. One, we got nothing back for him, so that was cool. We do have a big draft pick in the upcoming draft. So we could draft, Justin Fields, maybe Mac out of Alabama. Psych! All the mock drafts are predicting that the New York Jets will be drafting Zach Wilson. Now, I don't know how to feel about that because we didn't even give Sammy D a chance. He had to play under the tutelage of Adam Gase. I mean, I never played football other than flag, and I've never coached football other than in flag, but I'm pretty sure I could run an offense better than Adam Gase can. And if I had kids and they signed up for Pee Wee football and I found out that Adam Gase was their coach, I would not let them play. And that's a child's era sport of football that I wouldn't even let Adam Gase coach. So we basically took Sam Darnold, wasted the first 3 years of his career, and then dealed him to Carolina right after we finally get him an offensive weapon. Can you say Jets, Jets, Jets? Because I don't know if there's ever been a more Jets thing to happen in rapid succession as that. But that's not the only move that happened. Jason Backstage, that runs this show, at Jason on Book, and I think at probably something Herman on Twitter, is a massive Browns fan. And the Browns today, Wednesday, April 14th, made a massive acquisition in Jadeveon Clowney. Now, listen, Clowney comes with his fair share of criticisms, especially the last time he got a sack. But let's not sit here and pretend like Clowney isn't an absolute presence. I mean, if I was a quarterback and I went to hike the ball and I'm surveying the line and I'm against the Cleveland Browns and I'm in my set, I'm like, red 18. And this is surveying line. Myles Garrett, holy shit. Oh my God, Jadeveon Clowney, holy shit. And then I have to hike the ball. I've already soiled my tights because I'm pretty sure that's what football pants are. They're just tights. So once I see Myles Garrett, it's poking out. Once I see Jadeveon Clowney on the same line, I've shitted. So, I mean, the presence alone is why you get a guy like Clowney on that line. And it really, I think you're going to see a Browns team. It's going to make a run. They literally have to make a run. As long as Odell Beckham comes back healthy, not that they need him that desperately because Jarvis Landry's a dog, but I think that's a huge addition for the Cleveland Browns. But there's something else that's been making some huge acquisitions recently. And it happens to be an online platform known as BookatSports. What is BookatSports, you might say? Well, let me tell you what BookatSports is. BookatSports is your one-stop shop for sports bettors and sports fans alike. It is a social media platform for both of those fan bases where you can, as a sports bettor, track your action, get expert analysis from our in-house cappers. You can get matchup statistics that tell you what that team has done against the spread, what their players under/over stats are, and what that team's win percentage and record is against the team they're playing in the past 5 games. And as a sports fan, you can post to the feed, follow your friends, follow the creators that you love, aka Mikey O'Vers. and talk about sports, talk shop, talk sports betting, talk sports, anything you want, and it's all on one platform, and it's free on the App Store. I'm there. So come hang out. Book It Sports app. Book it. Timestamp 15:15. Let's cut that in post because I feel like I just killed that plug. But moving on. There are some things going on in Book It when I say major acquisitions. We're getting users left and right. And we can't stop that momentum. So what I want to do is I want to shout out some users that have been absolutely killing it on the Book It Sports app. Now listen. Timmy Bones, DH Bets, Bandana Kid Picks. If you have the app, go follow these guys. Their content is great. Their picks are smashing. And let's be honest, they love a little no-run first inning, which is going absolutely viral on the Book It Sports app right now. And listen, you can find a bet for anything on this platform. DH Bets gives you his DH daily every day, which I don't have the exact record, but I'm going to go on the record and say it's hit more times than not. Bandana Kid Picks is red hot. I'm getting tagged every day that this kid's got great content. Threw him a follow. Timmy Bones. Right before I logged on, I said, who's the most recent post on my feed when I refresh? And it was Timmy Bones. So good on you, Timmy Bones, DH Bets, and Bandana Kid Picks. You are at the heart of the community that is Book It Sports. Now, we talked about no-run first innings, which is going absolutely crazy on Book It Sports. But am I don't want to say privileged enough to speak about no-run first innings or baseball in general? Because I'm not. I don't have the qualifications. I don't watch baseball. I have this sick jersey, which, if you didn't notice, has the Maryland flag all over it. And for those of you that are just using the audio that is on Spotify, you can find this podcast on Spotify. I'm wearing an absolutely audacious Orioles jersey. Hopefully that drives you to YouTube so you can see the jersey. But listen, I'm going to have someone come on in a second here. And we're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk all things that he's interested in. All things that I have stolen from him? Maybe. I don't know. Because I definitely have stolen one thing from him, but we'll discuss it. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's one of the biggest and absolute largest scandals in the history of Book It Sports, but it just might be. It just might be. But he's also our very own Book It Sports intern. And I would like to welcome in Book It Sports' very own Intern Chuck. Now, for those of you that may not know Intern Chuck, on the Book It Sports app, he goes by Intern Chuck. He's our intern. He does all things behind the scenes. He set up the Book It You Madness tournament, and now I got him in stu today. Wow, when we zoom this out, Chuck, let me just say, the desk gets bigger. So you should feel a little bit intimidated coming into this arena.
I feel like I'm at my boss's, the mid-quarter evaluation, sitting in front of your boss. Like, okay, yes, sir. What can I improve on?
Except your boss is in a baseball jersey and a backwards hat with a Zen garden fountain. But listen, we're not here for the fountain, which again is working to the viewer's shock. Chuck, I'd like to address something. And I sent you a text last night about it.
Yep.
And it was that if people have been following my socials, they've noticed that past month or two, I've been using the statement, "Don't let me get hot." Now, I'd like to, on the record, just say that I absolutely stole that from you. Because you were posting on the Book It Sports app about your baseball picks. And at the end of every pick, even in March Madness as well, you'd say, "Don't let me get hot." And I just thought that it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And I wanted to give you credit on air.
Well, I appreciate that. And one of the magical things about "Don't Let Me Get Hot" is you got to say it with such emphasis that no matter if you've missed like the last 14 bets that you put down, which I'm pretty sure in March at one point I lost like 16 straight bets. In my next picks, I said, "Don't let me get hot." I have no idea if I got hot, but it's just a momentum.
But it's all about when I end a post with "Don't let me get hot," I feel like the bets are going to smash. Like there's nothing I could do to stop the bets from smashing.
You have to hit it with like "Don't let me get hot," like one of those. You're golden.
Oh my God, that's so good. But Chuck, speaking of you getting hot, I understand you're a huge baseball fan. I also understand huge Braves guy as well. Am I correct in saying that? I mean, yeah, we got the jersey on.
We got the jerseys going today.
And I'd like to get your opinion on the controversial play that went down that I'm sure everyone has heard of, but we haven't addressed on the break room. And I'd like you to address that play for us. And just let me know what was going through your head when it happened. Because I know were you watching that game live?
I was watching that game live. I just come home, had a long day. I'm pretty sure I just got out of my night class. And I was, looking forward to see the Braves hold on to a victory, which, if you know anything about Atlanta sports, we're not great at that. Holding on to leads late in games, that's something we tend to struggle with.
They do not excel at.
No, it's not something that the city really strives for. So watching this game, I see the short pop fly. I see it go to Azuna. I'm like, he may get this throw there. Watch the throw happen, see the slide. First glance, I'm like, he beat him. That's fair. Good call. Ref made the right call. Made the right call. Then I sit there and they review it and I see it and I'm looking for the runner to touch the plate. And I was never the greatest baseball player. I probably quit when I was in 6th grade when I had like 2 hits the entire season. I was excellent. I was an all-star pretty much is what
I didn't make it past T-ball, so you made it further than me.
But one of the first rules that you're taught in baseball is you have to touch home plate to score the run. I think that's something that everyone understands, and that was the most puzzling thing to me. He didn't score, and they gave them a point. They just threw one on there.
Slid in. Did he touch home base?
His foot went here in the dirt and then over the plate. So no, he got nowhere close.
You might constitute that as not touching the plate.
He was closer to third plate than he was to home plate. He was nowhere near it.
Having no background Google Maps to get home. Having no background in baseball, can I just say that throw home was super impressive to me. I don't know if that was like an impressive throw, but it was like on a dart.
Oh, it was.
Was that an impressive throw?
Marcell Ozuna, who is probably the best player that I've seen the Braves sign in free agency in a really long time. Like go out, spend money, immediate impact. He's been phenomenal, and he threw that ball perfectly down the line, hit it on the hop so it could get right into our catcher's mitt, right where he was ready to put the tag on him. So, I thought all things lined up perfectly. Who knows if we would have, scored a few runs the next inning, but I think the Braves have probably one of the most dangerous offensive lineups in all of baseball. I mean, you have the guy who should win the MVP right now, Ronald Acuna, leading off, which is just kind of crazy. I mean, he is on fire.
Don't let him get hot.
Don't let him get hot. But I have not had a call like that since in like 2012 when the Braves lost in the playoffs on some infield fly rule, and it made all of Braves Twitter go right back to that moment. So no, he didn't touch the plate. And I told Nick on my presentation lock that if the Braves lost to the Marlins the day after, I'd resign from Book It. So I'm kind of in a tough spot there, but they'll bounce back.
We can't afford you to resign from Book It.
No, I told him he'd have to write the letter of resignation for me if he really wanted it.
If you want it, you got to write the letter. But now, so Chuck, here's the thing as well, man. I know I got nothing with baseball. All I know is that no-run first innings are absolutely electric, and I know you love betting on baseball. So can you just walk me through kind of where your head is at when you bet baseball and what you're looking at? I know in the beginning of the year, at the end of every call, we give you a presentation lock. And at the beginning of the baseball season, you told the entire team that, and I quote, I'm going to be hammering the Braves spread and money line or run line all year long. And I'm going to be cashing all year long. I subsequently then hammered the Braves first game of the season and lost money. So I want to just ask you if you've reversed that logic or kind of like where you bet in baseball. Because I know I got nothing with baseball.
So for the first every year of my life that I ever bet on sports, I never bet on my teams ever until I started posting about it.
The cardinal rule.
Yeah, it is the cardinal rule. But no, I'm a man of my word, so I'll probably stick with it because all things will correct itself, I think, at the end. But the best thing to bet on in baseball, I know no-run first inning is electric and it's great. But if you find a matchup with one very good pitcher who plays for a team that likes that their bats like to get going, you bet MLB money line for first 5 innings. Because you start getting a little messy,
First
a little
5.
funky when the bullpen comes in, and you have a guy who maybe hasn't pitched in a few days, can throw a walk, and then someone hits a double, and then your win is all gone in the 6th or 7th inning.
Wide open.
And you can get some juice in those first 5 inning money line bets. You can find Dodgers plus money sometimes. You could get like teams that would be minus 130, 140 full game, like plus 115, plus 120 first 5 innings.
This is juice sniping is what I like to call it.
Oh, you just have to lock in. You find the teams that have their aces or top 2 guys on the mound that are just going to be pretty consistent throughout the whole day. And if they've got a solid offensive lineup, they're going to get a few runs on the board early. Oh, it's just beautiful.
It's just beautiful. So let's get your take, man. How far are the Braves going this year?
We're gonna go to the World Series.
Wow!
It's just a next step every year. We're gonna go.
Like in the stands or like on the field?
Well, no, I don't think the players would go watch the game. I think they'd want to play. So I'll be in the stands, but I think the boys will be on the field, ready to hit some dingers. I mean, you never know. Baseball, you got a lot of games left. There's like 150 left. So a lot of time.
A lot of games.
A lot of time left. A lot of games.
A lot of absolute games. So I know before the show we were talking about you had a couple of roommates that have gone to the Rangers game in person, which is like first team to go full capacity all year.
Pretty sweet.
Are you going to go to a game? What have they said about the games? Because everyone's itching to get back.
Yeah, I'm trying to go before I head back to Atlanta from school, but they said it was awesome. It was just like it was more fun being at a stadium with everyone, like seats packed, not having to worry about like social distancing and all that, than really the game itself, which is probably why I'm going to go. Yeah, exactly. I went to the Rangers Stadium in the fall when the Braves were playing in the playoff bubble. It was great. This new stadium is awesome. And I can't wait to get back there when it's full capacity, because the way they have like the roofing and everything set up, it just got loud as hell in there. So I'm definitely trying to get back. Yeah. I gotta get to a full capacity game.
That's awesome. And then we need some bucket content out of that, Chuck. Okay, so wake up, get to the freaking stadium, get us some content. But listen, Chuck, we're gonna move on to our next segment.
Sneak onto the field. Yep.
You're gonna run. I need a still video of Intern Chuck sprinting on that spongy green grass on Ranger Field. That'd be so good. But listen, Chuck, we're going to go to the next segment, and here's how it goes. It's called The Train Station.
All right.
And I don't know if you've ever watched the Breakroom. If you haven't, I'll let you in. So on the train station, I pick a team that I'm going to jump on the bandwagon of, or that I'm going to take wherever might be. And then next episode, I update on what happened. So on the episode before Baylor won the national championship, I was on the Baylor hype train. So before we get into it, I'm going to have to discuss how that train ended. But before that, I had Jason Preston. That crashed and burned. Okay, Jason with the graphic of Jason Preston. I said he was going to be the next LaMelo Ball, and he dropped like 4 points. So that absolutely just crashed and burned. Had a couple other train stations go awry. But basically what I'm going to ask is I'm going to have you step up to the ticket station, and you're going to give me an explanation of what team hype train you're getting. It might be the Braves to the World Series, Chuck. It could be anything under the sun. And you're going to give me a quick explanation of how that train looks. But I'm going to go first so you can get a feel for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you might have heard, I had my first successful train ride. And it was Baylor Moneyline, an absolute underdog in the national championship game against the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And I was sharp. I was in that train. I was in my seat. As I said, I was in the middle seat between Jason, who actually ended up taking Gonzaga Moneyline, and Trent. And we absolutely were on the train. It got a little shaky. We took an absolute huge lead in the first half. Gonzaga cut it to 10. But then the second half, they blew it open. And the train pulled up to the station. I'm sitting there, bandaged, bruised. The conductor came down the aisle and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, national champions, welcome." And I got to step off the train for the first time ever. First time ever. Got to step off a hype train. But I'm back at the ticket station. And I'm going to tell everyone and their mother what the next hype train I'm getting on. Obviously, Sean O'Malley, we're still on that one. The next hype train that I will be getting on, and this is a long-term hype train, is Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2. Now listen, I'm getting on the train, She's given me my ticket. The train is already bruised and battered. I'm getting on like an 80s level train that is just shaky. They still got the guy putting coal in the engine. And I'm getting on the train, and everyone's warning me. They're like, listen, dude, last time this train got going, crashed and burned. But I got faith in my Irishman. And Conor McGregor, we're taking this thing to the absolute crib. And that's just that. But I also have a short-term train that I want to just hop on real quick. And I got a text about it last night, and I'm gonna read the text out from you. And it was from our very own Jason Herman that runs the backstage. And it is the Luke and Stort hype train. And he texted me last night and said, Lou Dort hype train, yes or no? And I responded, yes. Because Luke and Stort dropped 42 points last night, and he's going to take this team to the absolute crib. I don't see a situation. Oh, the nameplate's falling. I don't see a situation in which Lou Dort doesn't put up absolute buckets and clamp someone up every night. So I will be on the Lou Dort hype train and the Conor McGregor hype train. Both trains are looking shaky, but we're going to ride it to the crib. Now, Chuck, I'm gonna ask you to step up to the ticket station. And you're going to buy your ticket. Give me an explanation of why you're buying that ticket. And then tell me where that train is going to go. And we're going to update them whenever that train either absolutely derails or brings you to the promised land that is the end of the road.
All right, Mr. Ticketmaster. We're going to be punching our ticket for the MLB AL Rookie of the Year this year. And his name is Akil Baddoo. And if you are not familiar with this name, you better be. You better be. He is a center fielder for the Detroit Tigers. I've not seen someone cover center field as well as this guy does in a long time. He can go get to any ball, and he's had some unreal catches to start the year. He broke out this year. In his last 7 games, he has 8 hits, 3 homers, and 9 RBIs. He's batting .390 on the year. He has like a .450 OBS. He's 6'1", absolute tank. He has a cannon. And if anyone else wins Rookie of the Year, I'll honestly be surprised. So I'm going to punch my ticket on the Akil Baddoo hype train because that name is also just so sick.
Akil Baddoo hype train.
Baddoo.
Punch my ticket as well. I mean, I'm sold.
Punch it.
We're going to clip that. We're going to punch the ticket. We're on the Akil Baddoo hype train. The train is looking nice. It's a modern train. He's obviously a rookie. But we're taking a futures bet to the freaking cribbo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been to the freaking moon. Get in your rockets because we're making home camp on the moon with Akil Baddoo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of The Break Room. Thank you so much, Chuck, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Don't let them get hot. And as always,
don't let me get hot. Appreciate you for having me, buddy.
Of course, man. And as always, stay classy, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a Jell-O in the fridge.